welcome to the channel. My name is Parisa, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a video about winter flowers that you should use in your winter flower arrangements, part of the beginner florist guide playlist that I am creating, and so far the autumn and winter one is within the playlist. Do make sure to grab a cup of tea while you listen to this video. It is very cold at the moment and winter is approaching us, and that is why I decided to make this video, because winter officially starts on the 21st of December and it will end on the 20th of March. So the aim of this video is to provide you with inspiration for different winter flowers that you can use to decorate your home or for different occasions, because I find as a beginner florist it is difficult to know what flowers to use for bouquets, and just in general, just knowing what flowers to use in winter usually doesn't come off the top of your head if you're not too familiar with flowers and haven't really worked with many flowers before. So I feel like this guide will be very useful for people who just need that inspiration. There is going to be lots of ideas and my top recommendations in this video, so do make sure that you continue watching. For the winter colour palette of your winter flowers, you want to go for ivory, pink, deep burgundy, blue, sort of snowy white, emerald green colours. It's very popular among florists to experiment with deep toned hue colours, for example crimson, burgundy, maroon, as well as plum colours. And if you combine these bold deep hued tones, then it looks excellent when you combine it with red and blue colours, and that just adds to an overall bold bouquet effect or bold flower arrangement effect. If you want to go for an even bolder winter flower arrangement style, then I would recommend using peach colours, adding those to red and green colours, and then you could even add some purples in if you want to be even more daring. If you're looking for something completely different to the more bold style arrangements, then I would go for a more classic style, which would involve using white colours with green colours, because you know that's just going to look a lot more natural, and the focus is not the colour, more just about the timelessness. Recently I've really been getting into well-being, different ways to use flowers to increase your mental well-being, your overall happiness and health. And one way that I do this is through flower arranging, and that's why I have started making videos about flower arranging, and I've just sort of began with the seasons. Just, you know, I'll potentially do a lot more videos in the future. The reason why I think flower arranging is such a good activity to increase your well-being is because it genuinely does relax you, and it's just got this amazing power to just really ground you. The great thing about flower arranging is that you can just completely express your creativity. Another amazing thing about flower arranging is that you can create tablescapes, and tablescapes is where you can create a certain setting or mood, and it's much easier to do that in my opinion with flowers than anything else, because flowers, they tell a story. They are ultimately symbols, you know, whether you're using the flower to represent a symbol, or whether you're using the colour to represent the symbol, or whether you're using the flower and the colour to represent the symbol. There really is just so many different options. So for example, let's say you want to go for a really bold look in your home, then you would create like a very bold tablescape with like rich red floral colours. Then you could pair that with like an evergreen backdrop, and then you could hang it along a mirror. For example, for Christmas, that would look absolutely amazing. I personally think there is a lot more fun in doing the flower arranging yourself. If you don't have much time, then I would say get a florist. Now I'm just going to move on to some tips and tricks that florists use for their winter flower arrangements, and that is using berries. Most popularly, mauve berries are used, and a really beautiful arrangement that you could create, for example, is using mauve berries with roses, ranunculus, cosmos. Combination just looks stunning together, and I highly recommend making a bouquet out of that, or you can make a garland. Another tip is if you are making the flower arrangement for a gift for someone, then I would recommend adding a more luxurious personal touch with a ribbon and a bow. Just going to move on to discussing different ideas and winter flower combination recommendations that you could use for bouquets or garlands. So for example, you could combine anemones, nandina and local garden roses. So for this flower combination, I would recommend layering white blooms with purple blooms with green blooms, because that will create a symbol of perfection, loyalty, as well as natural beauty. If you're looking for a flower combination that's going to create a very soft and romantic winter bouquet, then I would recommend combining clematis, sweet peas, hellebora, as well as O'Hara garden roses. This is just a beautiful combination. If you are looking to make more of a dark coloured arrangement, then I would go for anemones because some of them have dark coloured centres, and you could combine purple anemones with blue anemones with purple anemones, or you could just have separate bouquets with just the single colours. I would personally recommend combining white anemones with purple and blue anemones and then adding some scabiosa and some greenery with that. And that will just create a lovely combination if you are looking to make a darker styled arrangement. Now I'm going to discuss my top winter flower recommendations from number 1 to number 10 because there are 10 different flowers that I specifically think are the best to use for winter. The first flower that I'm going to talk about is the amaranthus, and this, in my opinion, is the perfect accent for a winter bouquet, and I recommend going for colours of ivory and blush pink because it evokes calm and softness. My second winter flower recommendation is using a rose in your winter flower arrangement. I just think the rose is the perfect winter flower to use. Specifically, I would recommend going for colours of red, cream or white. You could have different rose colour combinations of this, or you could just go for a single colour, and you can choose whether you want to make a bouquet or whether you just want a single rose stem, and that will still look very elegant and classy. I think these colours look amazing against a black background or velvet. You should definitely trust me on this one because it looks stunning and it just looks like the epitome of luxury. Clematis is the third flower that I would recommend for your winter flower arrangements, and that's because it does come in different varieties that I think are really nice to use for winter. For example, there is the bell-shaped clematis, or there is the large single flower. And personally, I would go for the bell-shaped ones because I just think they look a lot more delicate, and that to me just reminds me more of winter. And for clematis, I would select the colours of white, red, blue or purple. If you want to go for a really unique appearance, then you can go for bi-colours of clematis. Ranunculus is the fourth flower I would recommend, and that's because it's very small and it's perfect for adding as a filler flower in your winter flower arrangements. And they can add a lot of texture as well, so if you are needing to add some texture, then you should definitely go for this flower. If you're going for a classic look, then I would go for cream colours, but if you're looking for a more bold look, then you should definitely go for red or burgundy colours. The fifth flower that I recommend for your winter flower arrangements is Queen's Anne Lace. Such a good filler flower as well, and this just creates the most delicate, romantic feel, and that just completely reminds me of winter. And of course it comes in the colour white. Eucalyptus is my sixth recommendation, and even though this is not a flower element, I do think that it is key. I do think that it should be something that you should use in your winter flower arrangements because it has the most beautiful silver undertone to its leaves, and that just reverberates the glittery atmosphere of winter, and I just think it's very simple but so effective. The seventh flower that I highly recommend are carnations, and I think this should be a florist winter staple for all of their winter flower arrangements, and that is because carnations have the ability to survive during the much colder months, and that's going to be very useful if you want to have a bouquet or a flower arrangement that lasts a lot longer. So I'm slightly biased because my birthday is in January and the carnation is the January birth flower. In terms of colours for the carnations for winter, I would recommend going for blush pink, dark red, scarlet red or white colours. The eighth flower that I recommend to use for your winter flower arrangements is the camellia. So the camellia is great for adding texture because it has got a lot of layered petals, but of course you've got to make sure that consider the area that it's going to be in and whether you want to have lots of petals. This flower isn't the most popular flower to use for winter flower arrangements because I think it's a lot more unique and slightly harder to get hold of. Therefore, it really is going to create a unique look. And for example, if you have a wedding in the winter, then I would highly recommend using the camellia. The ninth flower that I think is essential to have in your winter flower arrangements, or just essential to have as a bouquet or just as a single stem in a pot, is the poinsettia, and that is because it is the quintessential Christmas flower people have just around Christmas time. I think the most beautiful way to incorporate the poinsettia into your home is by potting it in a plant as a single flower, because I just think it looks a lot more effective, and it is already quite a big flower. So it really just will create a focal point. Or you could use lots of different poinsettias in a bouquet and surround it next to greenery and berries. That would look so gorgeous. I think combining the poinsettia with greens, reds, deep hued tones, and even darker greens would just look beautiful. Another idea is you could combine just one poinsettia so that it's the focal point of a bouquet or a flower arrangement, and then just combine it with lots of different other flowers, and then that will just be the complete focus. And another idea is you could use poinsettia flower for flower garlands for Christmas. That would look beautiful. You could use them to create arches for weddings, even for Christmas. So the 10th flower that I recommend to use in your winter flower arrangements is the gardenia, and this is typically used as boutonnieres are attached against the groom's suit. However, I do encourage you to experiment with gardenias for your winter flower arrangements, because it will just look so classic, and it's white, so again it's going to give a really simple look, going for like that sort of soft, relaxed, angelic atmosphere for Christmas or for winter. It's definitely a flower you should consider. Another reason why you should use gardenias for your winter flower arrangements is because of the fragrance is reminiscent of coconuts due to the creaminess that the flower scent gives off. I do think in general the gardenia is not used enough in winter flower arrangements for bouquets, for tablescapes, for garlands. I just don't think it's used enough because they are just amazing flowers. They are just so beautiful. That concludes this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can see more flower videos in the future, and I have got lots coming up for 2022 which you will not want to miss out on. Watch the Chelsea Flower Show video that will appear at the end of this screen if you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.